Welcome to Hood War Stories. In this episode, I'll discuss the stories of the young men in the thumbnail. All of the men in this picture belong to the Rollin Hunnits, a Black American gang located on the west side of South Central, consisting of various cliques. These men are specifically from the Blocks and UG cliques, which is the heart of the Rollin Hunnits. Back in the 70s, their section of Westmont was known to have middle-class and well-off Black families. Just to the east, however, was a more impoverished area. In the early days, it's said the UGs got their name from disguising themselves as squares in order to survive the abuse and bullying from other Crip gangs. The undergrounds and the Blocks are practically one and the same, similar to the Athens Miller Bloods. Fast forward to 2025, the UGs and Blocks are arguably among the most active cliques in LA County. Also, of every West Side gang, they may have the most young gunners. On the afternoon of September 12, 2017, at around 2:40 p.m., Dimare and another person were sitting inside a Ford Mustang on the 9600 block of Wall Street. 2 minutes later, another car pulls up and begins firing. Bullets struck Dimare multiple times while the assailant's vehicle sped away. Dimare's friend jumped into the driver's seat and drove in search of medical help, flagging down police nearby. Dimare was pronounced dead at 2:55 p.m. He was only 20 years old. Reportedly, his brother is also dead. Aside from their high-powered beef with the Hoovers, the Rollin Hunnits also beef heavily with the Inglewood families. Arthur, also known as Arty, his death would result as a casualty of this war. Arty grew up with his family in an apartment complex on Manhattan Place. He was a bow-legged kid who always had a happy smile on his face. Eventually, as a teen, he became a product of his environment and joined the set. On October 14th, 2016 at around 7:09 p.m., Arty was walking with a friend when a light-colored sedan traveling west on 107th Street stopped at the intersection. Arty and his friend argued with the people in the sedan and then walked away. A second light-colored sedan pulled in behind the other car. 2 Black men in that car then began shooting. Arty was struck in the head and dropped to the ground. Both cars sped away westbound on 107th Street. Arty was pronounced dead at the scene at 7:20 p.m. He was only 19 years old. His friend was shot in the lower torso. He was taken to a nearby hospital and recovered. In a vicious cycle, Arty was murdered at the same age as his uncle. He leaves behind a son who his parents are currently trying to raise in the best way possible. Delvante, also known as C. Wade, jumped off the porch early. He became a full-fledged member and was active in the streets. His mother noticed the path he was on and tried her best to change the trajectory of his future. She knew the neighborhood that they lived in wasn't safe. In fact, the most dangerous part of South Central, from 2008 to 2018, was the Westmont Vermont Vista region. It was nicknamed Death Alley because 119 people have been killed on a 2-mile stretch on or near Vermont Avenue. In an attempt to save her son, she felt the best option was for their family to relocate out of state. In 2016, they moved from Los Angeles to San Antonio in search for a new beginning. Their transition went smooth at first, as Delvante was getting acclimated to his new surroundings. It wouldn't be long before things would take a violent turn. On August 8th of 2016, at around 2:45 a.m., Delvante had just left a party with his cousin who was driving. As their car was traveling on Waltham Road, a dark-colored vehicle pulls up next to the car Delvante was in and opened fire into it. Delvante was struck multiple times and was dead by the time police arrived. He was 19 years old. His cousin was also shot and taken to the hospital in critical condition, where he ended up surviving. The following night, Delvante's family returned to the spot where his life ended. They released balloons and held each other in disbelief. The family flew his remains to California, where he had his burial at the Inglewood Cemetery. Until this day, the killer is still on the loose. Crime Stoppers is currently seeking public tips and may pay up to $5,000 for information that leads to felony arrest in this crime. Delvante leaves behind 3 nephews and a niece. The only man in this picture that is still alive goes by the name Coop Corleone, who's an underground rapper with a local buzz in the city. Nipsey was his mentor at one point. He's got the potential to cross over to a wider audience. He's known for getting big money in the streets and has made wise investments that has doubled his net worth. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.